Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Sports. I am Ralph LaBella.
And I'm Ron Sen. And we have to talk about the Red Sox blockbuster trade as they give away the second best player in franchise history after Ted Williams for not very much. So obviously the goal the Sox had was to dump payroll, and Red Sox fans can't be very happy tonight. I'm sure that management is looking for a new advertising campaign to say, oh, we didn't give up, or yes, we needed a new yacht, or but Liverpool.
But you know what we're going to have with that money? I know they still have to pay half of prices.
Right.
But $6 million they're going to save there, I imagine, was a $32 million a year contract, I believe.
Right.
So $16 million a year. They don't give Betts this money. They may pull what the Yankees did last year. Get players like LeMahieu, although the Yankees lucked out for $14 million. And the relief pitcher is Otavio.
Gratterall is the Twins prospect, hard-throwing 21-year-old. I have a contact in Minnesota he was very unhappy that they got rid of Gratterall. So I don't know what that means.
Well, he throws 100 miles an hour, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a hard thrower, but usually if you throw 100 miles an hour, then eventually your elbow goes.
They're getting Carpenter?
They're getting Kenta Maeda, who's a Japanese pitcher from the Dodgers. Some people think the Twins are going for it this year. I don't know if Maeda's that great, but the issue for the Red Sox all along has been to get below the luxury tax threshold, and selling that to your fans when you have the most expensive ticket prices in baseball, it's hard. It's going to be a hard one to swallow. I really don't know what the line is going to be. Oh, we're still pretty good. Or how about this one? Chaim, get me another cup of coffee. Obviously Bloom didn't do this because he was making the team better. He did it on orders from the front office.
Well, this year with that trade, they're saving $43 million. I don't know what they're paying the two guys coming in, but like I said, you can get 4 players for that money that are pretty good players. Make your team maybe deeper and stronger.
Well, they're not going to spend. They're going to stay below the luxury tax, and Gratterall will get the rookie minimum, which is $500 plus right now. And Verdugo's second-year player, he's probably around $550, $600.
How much were they over before they made the deal?
Oh, they were up around $243.
And what is it, $220?
$208 they have to get below.
Oh, $208?
Right.
And they were at $243?
Yeah, so now there should be, with $43 million off, they should be right at $200. And they had just signed Moreland to contract for $3 million to be part of a platoon at first base. But the team is incredibly left-handed right now. All the outfielders are left-handed hitters now.
How happy is Bradley they made that deal, huh? Who are they going to put in right field?
Verdugo.
Verdugo?
Right. It remains to be seen.
What did he hit last year?
He hit like 290. But he only played, I think, 106 games. He was hurt the last 2 months of the season.
You know how many home runs he hit?
12.
Well, he's not a bad hitter then.
No, he's sort of like what Benintendi was early in his career. We don't know what Benintendi is right now because last year he was really terrible. They have, as far as right-handed hitting, they have Bogarts, Vasquez, J.D. Martinez. That's pretty much it. We don't know about Bobby Dahlbeck, whether he's going to make the roster. We don't know whether...
What about second base?
Chavis. Well, I think they're trying to give second base to somebody else, Perez or whatever his name is, kid they picked up, I think, from Cincinnati. It really doesn't look like they're going for it at all this year. It's hard to believe that the Red Sox have turned into the Tampa Bay Rays as far as selling their fans a small market approach. Now obviously Dombrowski, when he signed Sale, that was probably his big mistake to give him the money because they don't know what his health situation is.
Well, luckily they have him though. If he's healthy, he'll.
Yeah, if he's healthy, he's good.
But you got to figure they're going to end up in 4th place now in the East. Tampa and Toronto.
Toronto is definitely a team on the rise.
And the Yankees running away with it. You got to think.
But it's going to be hard for the Red Sox fans to swallow this deal. it'll be really fascinating to watch what the advertising campaign is. And I mean, usually what happens is the Red Sox get somebody out of town, there's a smear campaign against them about, oh, they weren't a good person, or they gave us hints that they didn't want to be here long term, so we had to get rid of them out of town. And then, of course, it's going to be, well, we would have got nothing if he just left in free agency. Well,
I mean, how can the fans be mad, though? They weren't going to sign him.
I don't blame Betts. I mean, Betts
Neither
is just...
team. You can't blame it, Betts or the Red Sox. Red Sox weren't going to give him a 10, 12-year contract.
Right. I mean, what of these big contracts turned out to be a good deal? Pedroia, look at the Red Sox now. They've been paying Pedroia for years not to play.
Look at the Yankees with Stanton.
Miguel Cabrera, Albert Pujols. Ellsbury. Yeah, all these trades. I mean, literally all these deals don't work out at the end. The back half of the deal, the team ends up underwater.
And Betts is not a Trout. He's better than Harper. That was a disgrace, them giving Harper that money. He's better than Harper, but he's not a Trout. But he's going to want the money. He's going to want at least a 10-year contract. 10-year contract at almost $400 million.
Well, I would imagine he'll probably get 10 and 35 million a year. Unless
he's going to get more than that.
Unless somehow he has a really bad year, which it's hard to imagine that happening in the National League.
Yeah. He's getting $27 million this year.
Right. I mean, now, I still say, my son always says, go year to year. Just auction yourself to the highest bidder. Because if Betts said, I'll play for the Yankees for 1 year for $50 million, you don't have to worry about any long-term deal.
Well, you're going to have to take out a $500 million insurance policy then if you're going to go year to year.
Well, you can afford to take out an insurance policy if you're getting $50 million.
Yeah, but you get hurt and you don't have it. You're making $40 million in a year instead of $440 million.
But
you tear your knee up, or like Ellsbury did, get hurt and can't play.
But most of the time, if you go year to year for 3 or 4 years, then you're really making the money up front. And you don't get, in the back end when there's inflation and stuff, the money's
he's basically
worthless.
Done that with arbitration.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, he's, if not the highest, one of the highest salaries ever to come out of arbitration. And, there hasn't been any negative about his character or personality. The one question you can have about him is in postseason play, really, he struggles so far.
But the thing is, really, you look at it, you can't get upset with the Red Sox. They got a right fielder who potentially could be a 300 hitter with 30 homers.
Right, he's a young player.
And he's young, and you got a pitcher who can potentially be a number 2 or 3 starter. So if it works out and they save all that money, so then they can deal for other people to make their team even stronger.
Now, on balance, was it worth it for them to get Price?
Oh, no.
Okay, so I think that the argument is that he should have been the World Series MVP, and winning a World Series is priceless for some. I mean, for the Red Sox, they've had 4 over the last 15 or so years, so maybe they don't feel that way.
But how do people know, right? The thing with Price, he says, now I'm holding all the cards. You're holding all the cards. You stunk for 9 years, and 1 year you came through in the World Series, and now you're holding the cards? A guy's making $32 million. That's a joke. And the thing with Price, too, right? Remember when he pitched against the Yankees in the playoffs that year? The Yankees clobbered him. The Red Sox saved him. Because if they didn't beat the Yankees, you would have still even been worse. You talk about a GOAT. And they saved him there, and then he pitched good in the World Series. You got to say that. $32 million, well, pitch good.
Well, I know there's all this talk about his magic elbow, that somehow he was on the brink of Tommy John surgery, and then he miraculously recovers. I don't know if they gave him a platelet-rich plasma injection or
Well, what do you think? You think it was worth it?
It's not my money. I mean,
no, but you think it was worth it?
I never really think that when you're paying pitchers $30 million that it's worth the money.
No stupid fans are, though, the Red Sox fans. They're saying that, why is the ownership paying out all that money to Price? They're not paying out the money. The fans are paying out the money. They don't even realize that. They have the highest ticket price in baseball. They're paying Price.
It's always the fans. I mean, if the fans wanted to make a statement, they'd say, you just really raked us over the coals here by getting rid of our best player, and you're still going to charge us more money for that.
Now, how's this? You know, we're huge Celtic fans, right? I go to 2 games this year. One of the games, the tickets cost $270 each, and I get that as a present. $270, and I watched them play San Antonio, and they were so flat. I'm saying, imagine the people paying this money for every game and watching that exhibition. And then I go to the Detroit game. I won those tickets. Those tickets were $170, and I brought my grandson, and they were terrible in the Detroit game. And I'm saying, imagine if I paid that money, $340 for 2 tickets one time, and $540 for two tickets another time, and I'm watching that exhibition.
It's like the old joke, Ralph. Guy's on his deathbed, his wife's there. He says to his wife, "You were there with me when I lost my job." She said, "Yep." "You were there when we lost the house." "Yep." "And you're here now. You're bad luck." You should stop going.
How about this? And then I go to the UConn game against Oregon. I mean, the place was so electric. It was unbelievable. National TV, you know, the band's going, and the UConn comes out with that game. But Oregon's really good. But I've gone to 3 games this year. Normally, most of the time I go to a Celtic game and a UConn game, they're winning.
Well, you know, obviously we don't know anything about this Gratterall other than he's a hard thrower, gets a lot of strikeouts. Looks like he's got a cutter as his second pitch, and he is mostly pitched in relief.
It could work out well.
Oh, and Verdugo, we don't know. I mean, they say, well, it could be another Benintendi. Well, I don't even know what that means. Benintendi really was very mediocre last year, struck out a ton. Supposedly he'd bulked up, wanted to hit more home runs, and he made less contact. So, you know, you got to have some contact. I mean, it's not like he was Chris Davis, but, you know, we'll see.
I think in the long run, it's a good move by them. They'll have money to make moves. These 2 young guys may turn out to be really good.
Well,
Betts here, what did he hit last year? 290?
Yeah, not quite 300. But the pressure is obviously on them to spend in the offseason for another free agent. But, you know, you can spend without breaking the bank.
They'll be all right. The Red Sox will be all right.
I mean, the number one problem that the team's had that everybody has to acknowledge is they have been unable to develop any kind of pitchers. You know, John Lester, was he the last guy they developed?
Yeah.
It turned out I mean, Rodriguez they got from Baltimore in a trade. The rest of the starting rotation is in trades. They got nobody really on the cusp of anything in the minors.
If this kid has a big year and the pitcher does well, fans are going to be happy. And this year they most likely end up in 3rd or 4th in the East, but they'll rebuild back.
Well, and the other part of the equation is they have no manager yet. They're probably, if I'm them, I'm saying, Major League Baseball, please, if you're going to hand out penalties, tell us who it's going to be.
Who would you like?
I don't really have a strong feeling. I think that what they want to do is find a bilingual manager because they have some key players who are Hispanic, and many of the top players in the league are Hispanic. So
I'd like to see him get Maloney. He talks Italian. They have any Italian players on the team?
I don't know.
But you know, Maloney, I think, would be really good.
They have Carlos Fablis, who was I think that's the first base coach. And
is he the one they're talking about they interviewed? Fablis?
Yeah. But again, I don't know if he was involved in anything. I mean, it's really important, you know, as I said before, the simplest answer to this whole sign stealing thing is make everything legal. Steal whatever you want. Come up with better signs so they can't steal them.
Like basketball. You know, they know every play they're running.
Right.
You know?
You know, back in the old days, Bob Gibson, okay, it's going to be a fastball at your head.
And don't hit a home run off them. Or you're going to get a fastball, you're right, off the head.
I mean, obviously it wasn't a good thing in the era, but there wasn't this buddy thing where everybody was everybody else's best friend. I mean, the Red Sox have a lot of questions going forward. The rotation is anything but fixed. We know Rodriguez won 19 games last year. We don't know about Sale's health. We don't know about Evaldi's health. And beyond that, you know, there's just question marks.
I mean, if Evaldi has a good year and, you know, Rodriguez has a good year and Sale stays healthy, you know, they have enough hitting. Who knows? I would say right now I would pick him for third or fourth, but you don't know if the pitching staff comes through. You know, they have a good bullpen, but they don't have that one great closer. If they got a really good closer, that'd be a heck of a bullpen.
Well, Workman was outstanding last year, but I don't know that.
But he could be a good setup man if they got a real good closer.
Right. I don't know if they really trust Workman. I mean, it wasn't like he's been doing it for year after year. But, you know, and we'll see. I mean, is a guy like Vasquez, is he going to hit 20 home runs again? I mean, he looked like he worked on his body because he definitely had a lot more power last year.
If he has the same year he had last year, I mean, they have 4 or 5 good hitters, a couple of real good hitters still. You never know. Pitching's going to be huge.
Yeah, Verdugo, I think, had a 374 on base percentage, so he must walk a lot too.
How old is he?
I think he's 23.
Geez, he could be a great pickup.
So, you know, we'll see. I mean, obviously, people always talk about the left field wall at Fenway and what a big advantage it is for right-handed hitters. It's all the, you know, if you look back through time, the great hitters they had, Boggs, Yastrzemski, they were guys who put the ball off the wall and left.
He's a left-handed hitter, though?
Yeah, he's a left-handed hitter. So
the whole outfield is lefty.
Right. And, you know, Bradley's a two.
And Devers is a lefty.
Right.
And
Moreland is a lefty.
Moreland's a lefty. Wow. They throw lefties at him.
That would be the logic.
The right-handed batters would love it.
How many lefties do the Yankees have?
Hitters?
No, pitchers.
Oh, pitchers.
They're mostly right-handed, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, they have Paxton's a lefty.
Yeah.
You know, Cole and Severino are righties. Tanaka's a righty.
But, you know, if you look at the pitchers whose giant contracts have really paid off, I mean, Verlander's obviously been earning his money, but there aren't many because most people, their health just doesn't hold up. So, you know, we'll see. I mean, I'd say on balance, Red Sox fans are not happy, but maybe that's just the nature of the beast, that no matter what the Red Sox are doing, they're not going to be satisfied. You know, and how do you get into this situation? You get into this situation because you didn't develop enough solid players from your farm system. I mean, the position players right now, you know, Devers, Bogarts, Benintendi, yeah, they've all come up through the team. And I heard a lot today about people pushing for bringing Brock Holt back, another left-hander with no power. I don't see that as being much of a solution to anything.
I like him, though. He can play all the positions.
No, he's scrappy. I mean, he'd be a good player for a team like the Yankees. You know, they already have such good depth.
Yeah, they wouldn't need him now, especially with a couple of players coming back that were injured last year. They'll come back. I don't know what they're going to do with Urshela.
Well, I would say almost unquestionably, looking at the composition of the pitching staff, that the Red Sox are going to be using the opener concept because they don't have a fifth starter. So they're going to, this guy Gratterall, maybe he'll be pitching 2 innings every 5th day. And you know, they do have a bunch of good pitchers in the bullpen.
And they don't have anybody down in the minors who can
Nobody
good
close.
pitches.
So, you know, it takes it's amazing how long it takes for most of these guys. You don't see guys come up like Jim Palmer who, at age 20 or Vida Blue, those kind of guys. I mean, maybe those are just once in a lifetime kind of guys. But we'll be right back. Round and round and round she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows. So much disinformation. Tom Brady being sought by the Raiders. Tom Brady being sought by the Chargers. Giselle in the suburbs of Nashville looking for schools for her children. And the Patriots saying that they'll pay whatever it takes to bring Brady back. So
the funniest thing was when they said Giselle's in Nashville looking at schools. How stupid is that? People believe that. Number one, you got to wait till a team gives you an offer and you negotiate with them. Then maybe after you sign with a team, you go look at schools. I mean, there are great schools all over the country. So that's crazy, anybody would believe that. But, you know, last show we said if Tennessee gets beat in the Super Bowl and the quarterback Tannehill doesn't have a good game, you may think that maybe Brady there, maybe they would want Brady for a couple of years. And that's the only way. I don't think there's no other team other than the Patriots. But then the Patriots, if they sign him to $30 million a year, what are you going to get their receiver? Where are they going to get a tight end then?
Well, and what do you get by being Las Vegas or the Chargers, getting your fans all excited about maybe bringing in a guy and then not bringing him in? Is that really helping you?
Maybe San Francisco if they let Garoppolo go. Maybe, but I can't see that either.
Well, if the Patriots were up 20-10 with the ball with 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter and they lost to Kansas City under those circumstances, we would all be calling it one of the great chokes of Patriot history. Now, I haven't heard a lot of people saying it as fiercely as that as far as the choking aspect, but San Francisco choked. I mean, they really did.
Well, in that game there, like people said, who do I like? I like Mahomes over Garoppolo. It's that simple.
Well, it was. I think if I'm remembering it right, it was 20-10, and then Mahomes throws it 40 yards to Tyreek Hill, and the defensive back is like looking all over the stadium for Hill like he was invisible.
But I mean, that's the bet you had to make if you were a bettor. I mean, if I was a bettor, if I bet, I would have bet heavily on Kansas City because of Mahomes. Then I would have down 10 in the fourth quarter. I would have been saying, what did I do?
Well, with Williams, Hill, Watkins, and Hardman, they are really fast. So I don't know who matches up really well against those guys. And there wasn't one offensive holding call in the game, was there? I don't think there was. So if you allow Mahomes to have time with the speed that they have, it's pretty hard to stop them.
Yeah, I went to bed when it was 10-10.
Well, he wasn't great. He threw 2 interceptions. He could have just as easily been the GOAT as the hero if San Francisco hadn't choked it away. And I think Garoppolo was 16 for 19 up to the point that he totally wet the bed.
But people don't realize how close the Patriots were to going to another Super Bowl. When you think about it talent-wise, they lost that tough game to Kansas City near the end of the year that they should have won. Bad calls and a couple of bad plays by the Patriots. They could have beat KC. Tennessee should thank God because they dominated Tennessee, but they kept screwing up during the game. A lineman downfield.
Well, the other issue is that Derrick Henry's a free agent. So I don't know if he's going to go back to Tennessee or not. If you're going to pay, I don't know how much you're going to pay a running back. I don't think you're going to pay a running back $30 million a year. And if you pay a running back and Brady a fortune, then again, it hurts you other places.
Yeah, and plus, look what Kansas City did to him, too. So teams are going to think about that, too. How was he before this year, Henry? He was good. But
he was
wasn't
good, right, exactly. Well, we always go on a guy's last performance. If somebody's outstanding, we remember that. And if somebody's struggling, obviously there has been this talk about Brady going to San Francisco and Garoppolo coming to the Patriots. I don't think that's very likely.
No, the guy I hope the Patriots get is Hurts in the draft. They have the 23rd pick. They're talking about 3 other quarterbacks going in the first round. No talk about Hurts. Hurts is going to be really good. I compare Hurts to like Watson now.
Oh, they have needs. I saw somewhere they were projecting Thaddeus Moss for one of the supplemental picks at the end of the 3rd round. Randy Moss.
Oh, maybe the 3rd round, yeah. Not in the first.
No, not they don't.
Do they have a 2nd round pick now when they gave up one of them? Did they have 2?
No, they gave up the 2nd for Sanu.
To Sanu.
I don't think they have that. And Sanu,
that hurts.
Sanu really wasn't very big impact.
No, he's not going to be an impact receiver unless they get a receiver that can go downfield.
His biggest impact was missing a block.
Yeah, but they got to get a receiver that can go downfield, stretch out the defense, and Sanu will become better.
Well, they're talking about A.J. Green, who's another guy who's been hurt a lot and carries a big price tag. So, the Patriots are always trying to get people on the cheap. So,
but if they can get that one real good receiver with everything else they have, they'll look a lot better. And they have to get the tight end, like maybe Moss's kid, in the 3rd round. Maybe he'll add something to him. He scored 2 touchdowns in that game, right?
Yeah.
Championship game.
Yeah, he big physical player. Not the same guy as his dad. He's not a speed burner.
No.
But, chances are he probably watched tons of film with his father, and he probably knows a lot about the game.
But he's got to do a good job in the draft. I mean, look at San Fran, the players they got in the draft. That tight end is really good.
Oh, Kittles, yeah. Well, I know that they were talking about the phantom pass interference. I mean, I thought Kittles pushed off
No,
on the play.
I know that was a bad call. I don't think it was a terrible call because the first thing is the cornerback reached out to him, and then he's the one who instigated it. Then he put his hand on his arm that when he was reaching on him, and then they both. He didn't really shove him, but he just separated. Right. But the Kansas City player is the one who touched him first, so.
No, I think
I would never have called that.
Yeah, I thought it was pass interference. So, anyway, as far as the most important part of the Super Bowl, the advertisements, I thought the number one ad that definitely won the Super Bowl was Groundhog Day.
No, that wasn't.
So Bill Murray's just ecstatic to wake up every day and drive his Jeep, and the movie Groundhog Day has become iconic for a lot of different religions because it shows the power of redemption. So
how about Brady? He wasn't bad in that little commercial.
He was all right, you know. I thought the commercial for the San Francisco coach, Sowers, the woman, said it only takes one, was really a nice touch. And what else?
They got to do something with the halftime shows, though. I haven't seen one good halftime show.
Well, some people were saying it was the greatest halftime show of all time. You know, I was in the basketball coaches group I was on. I was just kidding and saying that it's good to see the National Football League has returned to their wholesome family entertainment.
No, did they have Maroon 5 last year? Maroon 5 was one of them, I think, last year or the year before. And then J-Lo and Shakira. I like J-Lo as a person. I like her when she's like on a talk show. She's really nice, always smiling. I don't like her as an entertainer. And she really doesn't entertain me. And Shakira, I remember her from The Voice. She's a real nice person.
Well, she was on...
But to put those two together and do what they were doing...
Well, she was on 60 Minutes recently, and apparently she spent tens of millions of dollars to open up schools for poor kids.
They're both nice people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean... But they're not... I mean, their voice... You know, they think the guys are going to really like it, right? But to me, you want to be entertained with the voice and all that. And J-Lo has made a couple of good songs over the years, but her and Shakira, you know, voice-wise, singing-wise, you know, that I don't really enjoy that type of singing. But then you know why they put them on, mostly for the guys. But I didn't think it was a good. Not in that particular thing with his families. Kids are watching that show, the halftime show.
There was one controversy. Apparently, a company that sells some medical marijuana product, I think seizure medicine, which is a legitimate company, but with a relatively limited use, they were banned from advertising in the Super Bowl, and you had 10 million beer ads. So I'm not really sure why it's okay to advertise beer, not medical marijuana. So, but anyway, so it goes.
But again, I went to bed when it was 10 to 10 because I knew I was going to the UConn game, and I had to go out at 12 o'clock. I got a call, so I knew I had to go out at 12. So I said, "There's no way I'm staying up till 1 o'clock."
Well, it'll be interesting to see how this defines the career of Kyle Shanahan, because he was the part of the collapse of the Atlanta Falcons in the 28-3 Patriot comeback, and then now another game that was blown. And
I mean, how can you blame it on him? I mean, why would you even look where he got them? Well, his second year, isn't it? His second year head coach.
Their offense fell apart in the fourth quarter. I mean,
yeah, but is it the coach's fault?
Well, when you're calling the plays, kind of.
So what about McDaniels when the Patriots couldn't do anything this year? Why wasn't he knocked and Brady was knocked? I mean, Garoppolo was terrible in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think he was like 3 for 11.
Everybody said they should have been running more when they had 2nd and 5. that time instead of passing twice. But, it happens. When it doesn't work out, it's the coach's fault.
Right, you're always going to get second-guessed if it doesn't work out. I mean...
And is his fault the defense let him score those touchdowns in the fourth quarter?
You can't blame it.
He got him there his second year as a head coach.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, probably the number one thing is what happens to Drew Brees, because that's going to be a domino effect. Because then if Drew Brees retires, I think he's staying. He's still chasing records, and he's still playing well. So, and then Teddy Bridgewater is a free agent, and he was very effective in Brees' absence this year, and I haven't really heard much about him in connection to the Patriots, but the Patriots tend to be under the radar. I guess you can't negotiate. Well, I don't know right now.
Well,
it's not the
what is it, that March
period.
something or something?
Yeah, early March. So I don't really understand what difference it make if you're talking to somebody this time of year.
Knowing Belichick, he's not going to give those players 20-something million. So he's going to go with Stidham if Brady goes and draft a quarterback. And that's what he's going to do. And hopefully he'll have money left over, some money where he can get us. Maybe he'll get one of those Alabama receivers.
You hear stupid talk like, oh, Andy Dalton. Like, oh, please,
no,
please.
He'll never go for him.
Yeah, Dalton just hasn't shown really much of anything.
He may go with Stidham and then draft someone.
The talk behind the scenes was that Stidham was impressive.
He's got the arm and he can run. That's what you want nowadays. Yeah. You can't sign Brady to $30 million.
Well, there was a lot of talk about, or it always has been, is black quarterbacks haven't gotten a chance. And if you look at who are the top quarterbacks in the league right now, Jackson, Mahomes, Wilson, and Brees probably.
Watson.
And Watson, right? So. It's all about whether you can play. And if you don't have an opportunity, you're never going to be able to show a chance that you can play.
That's why I like Hurts. Hurts I'll tell you, he improved so much at Alabama when he sat after his second year and they had the quarterback coach work with him all year. He was throwing the ball. When he played in that big game 2 years ago when they won the championship game, when he came in, he was throwing bullets. He was right on. At Oklahoma, he was great.
Yeah, obviously the talk is that Burrows is going to
he's going
Cincinnati, no question about that. And the talk is that Tagovailoa is going to go to the Dolphins at 5. I don't know
if he's there. He may not be there. If he's healthy, you're crazy not taking him. I know some people say because of his injury, but you talk about a quarterback who throws the ball on the button. He's got a great accuracy. He reminds me kind of like Kenny Stabler.
I was going to just say Stabler.
Yeah.
And, the only thing is a little bit this year he threw into trouble. But.
Then the quarterback from Oregon, they're saying, may go in the first round.
Yeah, there's a couple other ones. Minnesota's got a quarterback who's pretty good.
There's going to be a quarterback there for the Pats on the 23rd pick. A good quarterback.
But do you think they're going to take one there, or?
If Hurts is there, they're crazy not taking him because
they're going to need a tackle because Tooney is gone, so they'll probably move.
You think he's going?
No, I can't see him staying. If they ever paid a guard that much money?
Well, they paid Mason.
Well, they paid him 10. I don't think he's. Yeah. I think Tooney's talking. The word is 14 to 16.
Well, they'll let him go, and they'll slide Karras over there if they don't get anybody else. Karras did a good job at center. They'll have Andrews back. Karras will go over there. They have Wynn over there. He's healthy again. They get Mason.
The other
Mason
thing is watching these guys kick like Butker and Robbie Gould. They're just like extra point. It's like a chip shot, easy, no sweat.
There's some
Gostkowski, it looks like he's trying to kick the ball over the moon every time.
I'd keep the kid they have now. I'd sign him. That ball comes off his foot really good. He's solid, way better than Nugent was. The ball comes off his foot, it's going left, right.
Right. Well, it seems like the good kickers, it's never in doubt. They hit it, it's going in.
You watch. I think Gostkowski is a free agent, is he?
I don't know, but he's got a pretty big tag. I think he's at $4 million.
If he's a free agent, they'll probably be able to cut him anyway. I'd cut him and keep the Who's the kicker they had?
I can't. I'm blanking on
But
his
he
name.
kicked really well
He was
for them.
the kid from Philadelphia. Yeah, he kicked really
liked
well.
him.
And the punter kicking off was good all year. So
I mean, they're going to be strong again, but he's got to make some good moves. I'm really disappointed about them giving up that second-round draft pick because they might have been able to get a real good tight end or receiver here in the second round.
well, they need to get faster on both sides of the ball.
You know, what are they going to do when McCourty wants to come back? No, if McCourty comes back,
not at $9 million.
they're going to cut it down to $6 million or $5 million. You know,
Yeah.
and I don't think he's going to go to another team and they're going to pay him that money. Although Tennessee, Ryan was younger. Tennessee gave Ryan $10 million.
Right. To me, they just need to increase the team speed. J.C. Jackson's fine. Jonathan Jones is fine. Obviously, Gilmore is an NFL
What about
Defensive
that
Player
number?
of the Year.
What about the number 2 pick? Number 30, what's his name again? Williams, is
Oh,
it?
Joanne,
No.
didn't he just get arrested for drug possession or a gun or something?
He's a good cornerback, too. He's going to be really good.
That story got swept under the rug
Yeah,
pretty quick.
it's-
So,
But they're going to be fine at cornerback. Safety, they still have Harmon. He has a couple of more years left. They'll sign McCourty. I don't know about his brother now, if Jason's going to come back at corner.
well, Van Noy's probably gone.
Van Nuys gone, but they have Bentley, they have Hightower. They're going to lose. I don't know if they'll sign Collins again.
Probably
Collins
not.
really wilted at the end of the year.
Yeah, right. There was
And
something
then they got
going
the other
on.
kid. What's his name? The tough kid. He played fullback.
Roberts.
Roberts.
You never know with any sport really because all these players are hurt. You never know if they're injured or just hurting because at the end of the year, it's a brutal sport and the kind of punishment they take.
You hope their defensive linemen are back. They had a really good year, I thought.
Yeah, Guy was really good.
Guy, and then you hope that the picks they had, that kid from Michigan, plays better. Winkovich, whatever his name is.
Oh, Winovich.
Winovich.
Right. We'll be right back. A lot of interesting news on the local scene. Hunter Adrian, wrestling superstar, will be going for his 3rd New England championship this year. Moved up in weight. He's been wrestling as much as at 120 and remains unbeaten.
Has he ever lost
Yeah, he lost somewhere. He must have lost when he was a freshman or
when he was
something.
a freshman?
Unbelievable career. And obviously he's going to be wrestling for Brown next year. The rumor is that Sam Dewey was offered for Northeastern in basketball. She reclassified, so she's a sophomore at Brooks right now. Outstanding local basketball player. And the boys basketball team looks like they're on track to make the postseason.
Yeah.
They've done pretty well. Boys hockey's been right around 500, not bad. And girls hockey really struggling as part of the co-op with Stone Rose. I'm not sure if they've even won a game yet this year. The one question that comes up is, what can you do to stem the tide of players that transfer to private schools? And probably the answer is nothing.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at, if they have a chance to get a scholarship, they're going to repeat a year, and that's the big difference. You can repeat a year if you transfer it to a private school. And just like Sam Dewey did, she's looking to get a 4-year scholarship, and it looks like she's going to get it for a Division I team, not one of the powerhouses.
Right.
I would say not one of the top 50 teams in the country, maybe from 50 to 100. A team like Northeastern, wherever they're rated. But, she's talented enough to play. To me, when I saw her play, I thought she was a possible Division II standout type player, Division II, possibly. But people are telling me, my friend who coaches AAU has seen her play this year, and he's really high on her. He's really high on her. He said that she's improved. I know the AAU program moved her up, I think, into the varsity. They had her down lower on one of their teams, and but they moved her up because she's improved so much. And my friend said she's definitely going to get a scholarship to a Division I school. UConn and those programs are out of the question.
Sure.
She can't play in those programs. But on another type, Northeastern type team, you know, maybe like Georgetown, maybe, but even that might be difficult. But I heard that there were teams that were looking at her.
Well,
So-
I mean, for Coach Reynolds up at Brooks, Coach Reynolds had played at Tennessee for a year. She played at Seton Hall. As far as I know, she played in Europe. She's coached both high school and in assistant coach at Salem State University. So she's got a big basketball background. She's a basketball lifer, and she can help a player develop to get to the next level. And that's, you know, it's hard to get that kind of commitment when you're coaching, you know, high school. I mean, not many players are going to come out of any program and then be going to, you know, Division I programs. You're going to have players that came out of Braintree and have gone to big programs when Coach McDonald was there. You know, as good as Pentucket's been, I don't know that their players have gone on to you know, high-level programs.
Well, no. I mean, they're well coached. It's McNamara, right?
Right.
I mean, when he took over that program, it was back when Hannah Brickley and Colleen were playing middle school. The only team that would beat them constantly was Pentucket, with McNamara and another girl. They graduate, they win the state championship, they graduate and their younger sisters come up. I mean, McNamara's had tremendous success. He lost two of his best players to
Bradford Christian.
Bradford Christian, where Hazelton, you know, he has the AAU program and he grabbed them. They're repeating because that's a private school. And the girl Hunt, who's a real good point guard out of Pentucket, and then another real good point guard who was a freshman jumped to his team. McNamara, very upset, told his players they cannot play in his program anymore. He'll find another AAU program because Hazeltine steals players.
Well,
And yeah, I know McNamara wasn't happy, but to know what made me happy? Last year, Pentucket won the state championship for the second straight year with those girls leaving, and they're going to win it again this year.
Well, you know, not only do they have talented players, they have good schemes. You know, as we've talked about before, there's a balance that you're trying to find between giving players as much freedom as possible and then running a variety of sets. Like if you were a basketball, you know, aficionado, you'd see Pentucket runs an offense called flex. You'd see that they run a lot of diagonal screens. They have great inbounds plays.
Good traps too.
They beat Melrose a couple of years ago running an Iverson cuts, where a player cuts across the two posts screening, and in key situations they have weapons, both strategy and the technique with the players to execute those at a high level. So. You know, it's really tough to find coaches who are going to invest the time and have the experience to do that. He's clearly one of the elite coaches around here.
Yeah, I mean, everybody talks about offenses. You know, everybody has these different schemes and these sets and all that. That doesn't win it. It's number one is talent. Number two is defense. He beat Melrose 2 years ago because of his trap. They turned the ball over in key situations, and they got easy baskets on layups. Hunt. And that other girl who begins with a G.
Yakabuchi.
Yakabuchi. But their best player is Hurley. When she played, now that whole group played against our team. That whole group, in middle school, we played them all the time. And to me, everybody was talking about Yakabuchi and everybody was talking about Hunt. But in middle school, I said, this girl Hurley is the best all-around player. Now Hurley's a superstar. She does everything for them. She leads them. And Yakabuchi's also good. And he has good talent around him. But his defense is unreal. That trap they have, you know, and that's what wanted to beat Melrose that 2 years ago.
If you're going to be successful, you're going to have to be able to apply pressure, and you're going to have to be able to defeat pressure. The other things that are really important is to have some kind of offensive and defensive delay games down the stretch. So if you have a lead, 4 or 5 points with 2 minutes to go, that you can burn time but still get a quality shot off late in the clock. And people don't think about that as being highly relevant. Melrose has struggled this year, a perfect storm of transfers, injuries, illnesses, different things. But they really struggled to score. Last night at senior night, they were able to put 36 points up with really excellent performance from Mary Kate Mahoney and Olivia Scarpa. I think they combined for 21 points.
Yeah, Mary Kate ended up with 13 and Scarpa with 8.
Right. So, but this season, in the previous 4 games, they'd averaged less than 25 points a game. And, even if you've got a really good defense, it's going to be hard to win without enough scoring.
I think when I know you used to talk about it a lot. You used to give out those pamphlets and toughness. And do you girls understand what we're talking about by toughness? And it's all mental toughness, Ron. Mental toughness. You need that. You need if you're going to be a really good athlete, an athlete that compete, if you don't have mental toughness, forget about it. When teams come at you, if you're not going to be strong enough mentally to handle and go back at them, and that's what I think would happen with Melrose. They were doing really good. They had their injuries, a couple big injuries.
Where you see it a lot is held balls or tie-ups. That you have one player who grabs the ball, and it might be tied up, whereas another player like Olivia, a tough player, she's just going to rip the ball out of your hands. So she's not going to get tied up very often. And it's subtle, and there's no way to measure it. But Jay Billis wrote a phenomenal book called Toughness, where he talks about toughness in life. He ends the book, he's talking about the toughest person he knows. And he spent a lot of time at the Duke Cancer Center. He talks about a woman who's in her late 30s that had a brain tumor, had chemotherapy, radiation, surgery. And he goes back to the survivor's dinner, and there she is, and she's got a new baby. So, kind of incredible. I mean, Ralph knows a little bit about this toughness business from his own experiences. But
who's the toughest player you've seen? In all the sports, the toughest player you've ever seen? We're talking about mental. I mean, Brady's mentally tough.
Yeah.
To be able to do what he's done over the years in the Super Bowl. But to me, it's Edelman. He is the toughest hard.
That's a hard question. There's so many guys that, Dave Cowens was a really tough player.
Yeah.
He undersized to do it. I mean, it's hard to say, one guy versus another. A really undersized guy who had a phenomenal career is Adrian Dantley on Detroit. But you're right. Edelman is, unheralded quarterback at, was it Kent State?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like what players ever came out of Kent State. And I'm not saying he's going to make the Hall of Fame, but he's going to get votes because of what he's done in the postseason, especially.
Yeah, I think another player who's going to have an unbelievable career, and I think he's just building up in that, and he's so tough now mentally, is Mahomes.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be, he's got a great career in front of him now. He won that championship, and he is tough to come through the way he does in big situations. You got to be. You talk about mental toughness. I would put him right up there with Brady right now. He hasn't done it as much as Brady, but I think he has a chance to do it.
I think that on the Red Sox, David Ortiz.
Oh yeah.
Talk about to come up and they always say there's no such thing as clutch, but how can you say that with a guy like him? He just came through in so many situations.
He's unbelievable. You talk about that. Michael Jordan, he was unbelievable in key situations. Always made the big play.
Yeah, the other guy that
Larry Bird.
People talk about Robert Horry.
Yeah.
A guy I think.
How many championships?
I think he had 6.
Yeah.
Kind of people would say who, but he was always there making a play. It's unfortunate that we didn't get to see Len Bias because of his self-inflicted death with cocaine, because he was such a phenomenal player. To me, he would have been a taller Jordan.
Larry Bird was so upset You know, he thought that they're gonna get biased and they're gonna win a couple more championships. And then when you could see it. I mean, he was really down after that.
Do you looking now? I mean, guys are out. Every team, Celtics included, for 3 or 4 games with knee soreness. Is knee soreness, or just like, here, this is your rest during the season?
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing that a lot. How about with Leonard? I mean, Leonard, you really have to baby.
Yeah.
Rivers can't. If he gets on him like Popovich did, he's going to lose him. But Leonard wants to sit. He sits more than anyone else when he's healthy. So
well, it just seems
that's a tough situation.
It just seems that we're seeing players all over the league out for a few days with knee soreness. I mean, maybe everybody's knee is sore. Okay, I get it, but when you're paying $270 for a ticket and the star player doesn't play that day, that's kind of tough.
Yeah, but it's really, when you're looking at basketball itself, there's too many breaks. How many times did Larry Bird sit down? Or Magic, or Michael Jordan, or Kyrie? How many times did they sit down?
Well, and they were probably playing heavier minutes, 38, 40 minutes. Nowadays, it's low 30s.
Bill Russell played the whole game, every game. Never sat down. And now look at them. They're all wimps because they're making $40 million.
Well, it's probably the teams want to protect their investment. And if you overuse the guy, he's going to be less productive.
It must be the agents telling them. Even though they've made their money, they must be telling them, talking to the coaching staff, he needs a rest here, he needs a rest there. How about last year in the biggest games on national TV? The top players were sitting down. And on national TV, where they're getting big money, the league, and they're sitting down because they want a break.
I know, it's hard to understand, but that's what we're seeing game in. I mean, it's certainly possible that Kemba Walker has a minor knee injury.
Yeah, he must, because he'd want to play. The way they're playing now, they're playing good again.
But Brown's been out, Tatum's been out.
Well, look at tonight's game. Smart's out, Tice is out, Walker's out. So I kind of like that when some of the players are out. Now, Tatum, Brown, and Hayward have handled the ball a lot more.
Right, and there's no complaint like, I can't get enough shots, because you can get enough shots.
And hopefully they bring up Waters and let him play some. But Waters is going to understand, superstar. Don't come in the game and start heaving up 3-point shots. That's why they sent him back down.
The guy who's really been excellent off the bench has been Wanamaker. He really has been good.
I was going to call you.
You're not a Wanamaker guy.
I was going to call you up till the last 2 games because he was terrible. He's been absolutely terrible since you said that. But now, the last 2 games, he was tremendous. He was. I hope he plays like he did the last 2 games, of course. If he can play like that, that's a huge addition.
Well, I mean, the other thing is, as we said at the beginning of the year, as Hayward goes, so goes the team.
No, what I don't like about it, and I'm a big Hayward fan, the thing I don't like about it is he played terrible in the biggest game, Philadelphia. In the last 5 games he's played, and he's averaged 24 points a game, other than that Philadelphia game. But you got to come up big in the big games. Like Brown and Tatum came up huge against Philly.
Oh, yeah, Brown had 32, I think.
Yeah, Brown. And that's a shame. Brown doesn't make the All-Star team, and Tatum does. Here's the difference, Ron. Tatum's outscored Brown by 1.5 points a game, 31.5 to.
But how many more shots is he taking?
Over 20. He's taken 3.5 more shots a game than Brown. So think of this. If Brown took 3.5 more shots than Tatum.
Yeah. Oh, he'd have another 5 points a game more.
He'd have another 6 points, because that's 7 more shots a game when you think about it that way. 7 more shots a game. He's shooting 50%.
That's a great point.
So it's unbelievable. So he would have another maybe 8 points. So he'd be averaging 28 points a game.
The good thing about both of those guys is I think they both seem to want to be great.
Tatum's getting better.
He is getting better.
They want to. He's getting better. He's built stronger. But it's a shame. Brown should have got it. And I was a big Tatum fan his first year. Last year I got down on him because he didn't play defense.
His plus-minus ratings and his defensive ratings have improved a lot
he's
lately.
Better. I got to say, he's a better ball player. He's now shooting 43%. Brown's shooting 49%. Hayward's shooting 50%, over 50%. But Hayward's more of, I don't care how much shots I get. You know, Tatum has to get his shots.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Tatum
Yes.
has to get his shots.
You know, so.
Well, he hasn't got paid yet, so that's.
But,
I mean, he'll be up for an extension at the end of this year.
But know what I'd love to see? Just like Walker was out of that game against Philly, what I want to see is I want to see all those players play good at the same time. It's tough because, you know, they're all going to get the shots they want. But if Walker, Tatum, Brown, and Hayward have real good games with the other guys around them, they can beat anybody. You know, but that's what I'm waiting to see because I think they're starting to turn things around. They're playing way better defense.
Well, they keep talking about making another trade for a shooter.
They need a shooter coming off the bench.
Yeah, obviously Carson Edwards didn't pan out so far. Even in Maine, he hasn't been great.
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed being with you tonight. I'm Ron Sen.
And I'm Ralph LaBella, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Sports.